Welcome to Witches and Wine, another awesome episode where we talk about witchy stuff. And oh my god, my wine's not even near me. What is going on? And
she's broken.
I'm broken. And we drink wine. Clink and drink.
Clink and drink.
Clink and drink. So before we get started, let's have Silenus explain or discuss the wine that we're drinking.
So tonight, I have chosen a rosé for us to drink. It's called Chemin Des Sables. What very nice representation of what a French rosé is going to taste like. Crisp, dry. Going to have a little bit of cherry, strawberry, and raspberry flavorings. So some red fruit. Not overly sweetened by no means. Very easy to drink. Wonderful on a hot day like we're in the middle of July in the inland northwest. It was 95 degrees today. It's still 85 degrees tonight at midnight going the next day. So we want something light like this and crisp and very refreshing. Generally runs between 10 and 15 bucks a bottle.
Super yummy.
And when you find it, I highly recommend it. It's in my top 5 of all rosés that I've ever experienced in my life. So I can't express how much you need to drink this wine.
Oh my god, he's expressing it right now.
Yep. And when you see the bottle, it's got the sexy curves of a woman. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. I'll show it again. It goes in, it goes out just like the shape of a woman.
Too sexy for my wine. Too sexy for my wine.
It's not just for women though. It's great for guys too.
Yeah.
But enough of that.
So we're going to... Thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
We're going to talk about basically the Wiccan religion and basically about religion versus spirituality. What makes Wicca a religion? What makes your coven a church? All sorts of interesting topics, but that have to do with church and religion in our religion.
With it under this umbrella.
So, when I first decided to join a coven, I remember one of my witchy friends, who was a solitary practitioner, messaged me and said, "Oh, you're getting organized." And I remember thinking, "Oh, that's weird," like, because I didn't know how much... I never considered myself Wiccan. I knew that I was witchy, but I didn't quite understand that, and call me maybe a noob at this, but I didn't understand that Wicca was a religion. I just thought Wicca was a nice way to say witch. Like, for those who didn't want to say, I'm a witch, they could say, I'm Wiccan, because that sounds...
Wicca still is a nice way of saying witch, but...
It still is.
But you just didn't realize that there was a religion that was attached to that.
I really didn't understand that, and so... And not until I joined a coven, and I realized, oh, okay, I get this, because me, personally, I love religion. I love all kinds of religion. I love gathering with other people and worshiping. I used to go to different churches just to get that feeling, even if I didn't believe in what they believed in. If I could be with a group of people in a church or in a group and just worship, that power and that was raised, and that energy is so strong. So it was absolutely perfect that I decided to join a coven and worship in a group. So I just wanted to talk about, because we talk about this all the time, and I've heard several theories on religion versus spirituality. So I kind of want to start there. So, like, what do you think the difference between religion and spirituality is?
For me, my experiences with religion is, when I was young, I was raised Roman Catholic. We're talking full Latin Mass. Raised lower.
Yeah.
No English spoken. Full Latin. 1,000 people. 40-foot tall stained glass windows. Everything was to show you the might of God.
I think that's so beautiful.
And the might of God, where I felt small and insignificant. We had the 12 apostles in stained glass windows surrounding the whole church. There was a 50-foot tall Jesus on the cross. I mean,
intimidating.
You see how small you are in the insignificance of everything in the might of the Lord. So that was my basis of where I first started religion. So I was turned off. I'll be perfectly honest. I couldn't understand how people could find something that they enjoy out of this when they're made to feel as if they're not important. They're small. So I went through that religion up until I was 12. My parents gave me the choice of continuing on with religion or not, and I chose not, and I thank them for it because it wasn't right for them, it wasn't right for me, but we come from an Irish Catholic family. So, and any Irish Catholic families, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I come from, my mom is Mexican, so the Latin, Hispanic, Catholic, Hispanic.
Yeah. So, yeah. But similar, different, but close enough to where we're related.
Yeah.
So, from pretty much the ages of 12 to 35, 36, 37, I was poo-poo on religion, but I was never negative towards spirituality.
So what do you think spirituality is versus religion? Spirituality
is connecting with something that is greater than yourself and helping that find your purpose.
But not labeling it.
Maybe. But not labeling. Well, religion was too many. You can't do this. You can't do this. You can't do this.
Too many rules. Tenets.
But you can do this. Well, what am I? There's so little. I can do this. It's more. You can't do this. So if all these things were present, why can't I do them?
Right. Like, why are they available?
Yeah.
So. Yeah. And then, of course, they say, well, the devil puts them there. And I'm like, well, this devil sounds like an interesting person. Because all the stuff that he likes to put in front of me is the fun stuff.
I used to experience spirituality through other means, we'll say.
Drugs.
Not necessarily legal. And I don't say go out and do this if you want to find spirituality because it's not right for every person. But sometimes that might open a door for you that let you help find something down the line that you're looking for.
Different point of view.
It opens your mind.
But so when I would go, we'll say, test the different planes that are out there and different levels that are going on, I would talk with deity. I just didn't realize that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
And after my wife Lola had got started in that coven she was talking about, I started seeing the change in her. Where she'd always, like she said, been a religious person, but now she had something tangible that she could say her religion was. Well, because when we met many years ago, she told me she was Christian, and then she told me her beliefs, and I'm like, honey, that's not Christian. And she's like, yeah, it is. I believe in Jesus. I'm like, well, okay, I believe in Jesus too, but I'm not Christian.
Yeah. I believed in the man Jesus, but I also believed that there was more than one god, and that there was a goddess, and I didn't know that was Wiccan.
100% not Christian.
I was like, oh,
pagan.
Yeah,
and pagan. But I thought, well, I'm Christian because that's what my parents told me we were.
Yeah, and that's what you were told you were. But
I was told I was Christian.
You didn't experience it. I was raised Roman Catholic. I'm not a Catholic.
He knew more about the Christian religion than I did. To be able to point out that, honey, you're not Christian.
Well, I've always been interested in theology. Like I have read many different theological texts from different religions. The Book of Mormon, the Quran, the Torah, the New James, or the King James Bible. The Old Testament.
King James was an asshole.
Well, yes, there's just I've read all these because I've been interested to see how the different groups look at things, and there's all very much similar teachings out there. Treat others with respect. Treat yourself with respect. Know that there's something greater than you out there. Absolutely. Please join us.
We have our studio audience.
Yeah, tonight's studio audience is Aria.
We got Aria.
Our lovely coven mate.
She's our coven sister.
She'll see me soon.
Yeah.
You've seen her.
She talked about drawing down the moon book and Aphrodite.
We've had her as a guest, and you'll see her in the future.
She's our resident Aphrodite. I need some more of that one. I need. You want to
Dionysus?
So, honey, you're wet between your legs.
She spilled. She spilled wine between her legs. I could have done it. It's my fault.
It was a party foul. I'm so sorry.
But so I would go join. Going back to what we're saying, I would go and join Lola's open rituals at her coven, where it was family friendly. Wicca light, so to speak. They wouldn't break all the secrets. but there was a tangible feeling of spirituality that was attached to religion for the first time that I got to experience. And through the process of attending that 3 years and seeing Lola and some of her coven mates here at our house doing magic together, that I would experience that. And I said, well, hold on, what do we got here? So I identified as pagan for a while, but not Wiccan because I just didn't understand enough about it.
And when I realized that Wicca was a religion, I was very confused that I thought that witches were against religion. It's just because
No.
But they're not.
No.
Because they're worshiping something. And did you get a towel, honey?
I'm good.
Are you sure? Because we got towels.
Allow people to support what they believe is what we believe as Wiccans. If you find something that gives you purpose, that gives you spirituality, go with it, because you know you found something that's right for you. We hope that it's something along the lines of what we follow.
So spirituality versus religion. What you like Arya said, religion is organized.
Yeah,
it's more organized.
There's a structure. There's a hierarchy. There are things that you do to support that religion.
And spirituality, you know that there's something greater than you. You know that there's something that's more powerful. You just don't label it. You just don't call it certain things. You just know. You know, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of how I view spirituality, because I've always been a spiritual person, and I've always been looking for a religion that speaks my language, and then I found Wicca, and I've only been Wiccan not that long, but I've been a witch my whole life. I just didn't know that. So I'm very new to Wicca. It's only been the past 5 years. Yeah,
and I'm even newer in that sense.
Yeah.
Because she had been part of the coven prior to me knowing any of this
and that
stuff.
brings up a good topic that we were talking about within this is covens. Covens, from what I've gathered and what I know and how I run the coven that we're in, and I've heard two thoughts on that. What's the difference between, in the Wiccan religion, what's the difference between a church and a coven? Thoughts? Would you like...
Yes.
Say, yes.
Because you have a congregation, which is the people who go to a Christian church. Or
Yeah.
you have a coven of witches.
That's the congregation.
That is like a congregation.
Okay.
So that would be the people who attend the church.
And the church is at the covenstead.
The church would be, yeah.
Right?
So you have a gaggle of geese, a flock,
But-
a flock,
A coven is an enclosed group.
witches.
A coven of witches.
A murder of crows.
A murder of crows, a coven of witches.
But isn't a coven of
A congregation of Christians.
isn't a coven a identified group where a coven you're part of the coven, you're part of the coven, where a church is more open for people who aren't necessarily part of the group to come and view?
I think it would depend on
how
the
you
denomination of the church.
Well, let's talk about what we know. Our coven. Okay, so I've heard this from a couple elders in the community and who I've interacted with, that because I had asked because how is my coven that I'm starting, how can that be a church? And I heard from one elder that you can just call yourself a church, and then if you want to, get all formal, you need to be recognized by the IRS and what is
501c
that and
status.
Okay,
and
but even if you don't have that, we can still call ourselves a church, because that's kind of what we're doing, is we are congregating and worshiping the god and the goddess. I heard from another elder that what makes a difference between a coven being a church or just a circle or a coven or whatever is if you, within your coven, you are elevating people. So you're giving out the degrees, you're giving out the first degree, second, third, and you're making clergy is what you're doing. That makes a lot more sense to me.
Maybe because if you're going to correlate to Christianity or Catholicism, it's taking communion. It is doing altar boy status.
Right.
It is.
Right.
You're working your way up, even though you aren't in a Christian church or Catholic. You're not
a correlation to something you would
Yeah.
see.
They're still elevating.
They're elevating because you work yourself up.
You're doing something to learn the religion.
You have a deacon. You have an altar boy. You have a
Yeah.
deacon. You have a priest.
Yes.
You have
even the choir. You
The
know,
choir,
you have
you
to.
have sisters,
You have
you
those
have-
things that you work into the church.
brothers, sisters, fathers.
And now those are the ones who are like, I want to be a part of this church and help run this church and help, whatever. And that's what a lot of covens that we do. Oh, that's much better. I have purple teeth.
You always have
I know,
purple
I
teeth.
always have purple teeth.
Which is the one.
Which is the one. Clink and drink. Clink and drink. So, we gotta keep track of time.
We're good.
So, the whole way that our coven is that we give out the degrees. We're bringing up priests and priestesses.
It's an initiatory path.
It's an initiatory path. I was under the assumption that all covens did that, but when I talked to one of my elders, Bella Donna Laveau, who was on a few weeks ago, and hi Bella.
We love you, Bella. Thank you again.
We love you, Bella. Thank you for being here. We had a great time with Bella.
We know you fabulous.
I know,
and we
you
had
should have been here for Witches and Wine.
We had an absolutely fabulous ritual that was put on by her.
It was really fun.
That it really spoke to all of us in our coven, as well as
the community
that
showed up.
in here in the Spokane, Washington region that showed up. We had a great turnout, and we thank each and every one of you, and we love you for coming out. Thank you.
So, yes, thank you so much. So, Bella had explained that, now I lost train of thought.
the whether or not all churches have Wiccan churches have initiatory paths. and
So,
forth.
thank you. So, when I had asked her about what makes the coven that I'm starting, because this is before I started the coven and I had talked to her about it, she's the one that said, well, you're giving out degrees. You're doing first, So then I'm like, oh, so that means there's actually circles out there that don't do that. They're just, I guess they're circles or covens. So, again, I sometimes feel like I should know all this, but I only know what I've been taught, and I only know what I've participated in.
Right.
I have participated in a coven that elevated me to 3rd degree, and now I have created a coven to help elevate people. That's what I know.
that kind of brings us to another step of this, is the concept of traditions.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, there are plenty of traditions out there. British traditional, Saxon Wiccan, Alexandrian. You have Kemetic. There are so many different branches out there. So, like a church is in the Christian faith, we'll just keep on using them because that's what most people in America understand.
Yeah.
But even in the Muslim faith and the Jewish faith, there are different denominations, just like there are different paths in here. Well, with us, I know that we're trying to kind of starting our own tradition, taking an eclecticism of your past coven tradition, some of the stuff from the ATC and other traditions that we have experienced and encountered, and we're building our own.
I'd like for us to have our own tradition eventually.
So that what helps define us as a church compared to a spirituality concept, because we have a designed path and something that we are planning and looking to teach others with that, compared to a spirituality where you just experience it, but you don't have an identifying factor saying, this is it.
So spirituality versus religion is almost like solitary, in which terms? Solitary versus coven.
Because solitary,
solitary, they practice Wicca. Our coven sister is Lean.
Yeah.
She was solitary, and she's
she's
been Wiccan for 5,000 years. I mean, like this, okay, not 5,000. She's been Wiccan longer than any of us. That's why I'm like, I'm new to Wicca.
She's our newest member, but she's been practicing this longer than any of us.
I'm newer to Wicca than I am to witchcraft. And then there's another thing. Wicca is the religion. Witchcraft is just...
I think Wicca is the structure.
The structure, yeah.
And
yeah,
being a witch is just who you are.
Yeah. Wicca... Brilliant. Wicca is the structure, and being a witch is just who you are.
There is no structure with being spiritual. There's structure in following a religion or practicing it.
Yes, and that was a little weird to me when being a witch and then joining it's an organized religion, and I thought, but God, aren't we anti-organized religion? And I realized, no, we are Wicca is a religion that practices what we believe in, and with other like-minded people.
It's like we always say, what we've always heard, even before we start practicing, we start talking to our elders and other people in the community. You found home. You found your path. You find your path when you're supposed to, and each path's different, but accept your path and go with it. Spirituality, you may not, you follow it throughout, but eventually when you're ready for religion, if it's right for you, you'll find it on your spiritual path.
Well, there's this whole, and there's a whole group of people that call themselves spiritual but not religious.
Absolutely.
And I think in a way by them saying that's kind of redundant, because...
Is it the agnostics, not the atheists, but the agnostic, where they say accept something but they can't identify what it is?
I identified as agnostic for a long time.
Did you really?
Because you knew there's something out there, but you had no idea what it was, and you couldn't subscribe to anything.
Well, a lot of people get agnostic and atheist confused, and I'm not either, but I have always been under the assumption that atheist means you just don't believe in anything. Like, it is all like, when we die,
there's
you're
no deity,
dead.
there's no deity, there's no spiritualism.
It's all science. It's all science, and there's no life after death. This is it.
We're atoms, neutrons, and protons.
This is it.
And nothing else.
When you're agnostic, you may not identify with a particular deity or God or religion,
but you know there's something.
But you know there's something.
Yeah.
You know there's something. And that's spiritual.
Yeah,
that's spiritual.
Agnostic can be considered being spiritualistic. You know there's something there, but you don't know what it is.
So are we safe to say that agnostic people are spiritual? Because I know
absolutely.
some... Yeah. But I know some agnostic people that are like, no, I don't believe in God, I'm agnostic. No. I go, no, I've met a lot of these people.
But they believe there's something.
They're just on the fence, and they don't know what they want to identify with.
They may not want to call it God, but they believe there's something there's something that connects all of us. Sure. There's something that leads all of us.
Like, if you look at, like, one of my favorite comedians is Ricky Gervais, and he is
so funny.
Very atheist, and he is a true blue atheist. He just thinks that it's all kind of silly. Like, religion is very silly, and I get it. He thinks it's all very, you talking to a man in the sky and blah, blah, blah. And I get that. But at the same time, he understands why people need religion. He understands why people have that faith. Because there are people... Not everybody, but there are people like me, like you, where we needed that something to we knew there was something, and it may not have fit into the mold.
It makes us a community.
Yes, and so, but I think that's interesting that you bring up that you were agnostic and very spiritual, and the only reason why I'm saying that is because I've met a lot of agnostic people who are like because they're confusing spirituality
for 20 plus years.
Religion.
20 plus years, I considered myself agnostic because I knew there's something greater than me. I just didn't think any religion had nailed it.
But you used to call yourself atheist.
No, I said agnostic. No, because I always told you I knew there was something greater than me out there.
You used to say, you don't remember this. I remember having this conversation, and we're not getting in
words in my mouth.
A husband and wife tiff. But you did tell me years ago.
What I'm talking about. I was putting words in our mouth.
Be quiet. But he did say years ago.
Well, isn't it usually this, honey?
He did say years ago.
It was years ago.
When we first met, you said you were atheist because you didn't believe in God, but you believed there was something else. And I was the one that said, then that means you're agnostic.
Well, you corrected me. I didn't realize I was using wrong terminology.
Okay. He still won't say I'm right. Go ahead, Aria.
Me in my almost correctness?
Aria's got something to say.
I just think that a lot of agnostic people, gosh, it's like they don't want to be wrong because they don't want to identify with one particular thing.
Yeah.
Because
it's so bewildering. It's like in your soul, you know there's something out there. And that inherently humans will want to know where we came from and where are we going and why. And
How can you not question that?
As I was saying, they hadn't found out what it was called for them.
for them.
Yeah.
For them.
For them.
And I think for everybody, it's different.
Yeah.
It's going to be a different.
And you're going to have your own, like I've always said, I don't care if you worship an alien in the sky that you believe that is going to poop out, the tablets that have the secret to life. Well, they're not pooping out tablets. But what I'm saying
is...
They
just found them in a barn in upstate New York?
Okay, but maybe they were pooped out by aliens.
No,
but
in a hillside of a...
Yeah.
It's a hillside.
Yeah.
Upstate New York, right outside.
We got the resident ex-Mormon in here.
Yeah.
Aria.
But I can't show them to you.
Digging in a hillside, yeah.
But no, if you believe that an alien is going to, cough up some tablets that have the secret to life, and you go to some little house, in a field with a few other people, and you all believe that, that's your religion, and you have every right to practice that religion. And if you can gather other people that, like, if there's someone across the universe from you, or across the planet from you, that's like, God, I wish I could find people that believe there's an alien that coughs up these tablets, and you reach them, oh my God, and then you find each other. Now, yes, to us, that sounds like the most ridiculous religion ever.
But you know what?
But there's someone out there that believes that, and there might be a few others, and they're fine.
And as long as you're not hurting others,
yeah.
Then you know what? So be it. If it's right for you, it's right for you.
Worship that alien in the sky that poops out tablets.
So, when I took my elderly mother,
remember, we can only go to 33.
Yep.
To Salt Lake. We were walking around Temple Square. So my dad's been gone for years. And he was a tyrant. He was an asshole. But we're walking around Temple Square, and it's a very spiritual place. I mean, the temple in Salt Lake is beautiful. Mm-hmm. The tabernacle is beautiful. The grounds are beautiful. And everybody walking around believes. There's so much energy there. And
absolutely.
It occurred to me as we were walking around, and Dad sang in the Mormon Tabernacle Choir.
Yeah,
he
Tabernacle.
sang.
Oh, wow.
He was there.
Yeah.
He was on TV every Sunday morning.
Oh, wow.
Now, was he a brother or an elder?
He was a high priest.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it occurred to me that his faith, even though I don't buy into his faith, his belief and his faith made him a better man.
Yeah.
It was right for him.
See?
It wasn't right for you.
For him.
Yep.
And gosh, for every human to have a belief system, a faith, that's going to make them a better person.
Absolutely. And that's why I said, if you believe in something and you see the beauty in this world, and that it comes from not just scientific matter, then go for it. Explore that faith. I'm a big supporter of it. And Wiccans, we are very supportive of other religions, and that's why Wicca was just perfect for me, because I love worship. I love worship.
To just have it.
And I believe that every religion has its beauty just as much as it has its downside too. But we're running out of time, because we realized on our visit with Bella that my thing will record up to how
33
long?
33 minutes, 12 seconds.
But 33 minutes and 12 seconds, it'll cut off and then start a whole new thing. So, anything before we go? We got a couple minutes.
Nope.
Any last minute?
Nope. Just like usual, if you want to come see us, visit us in person, or be a guest on Witches and Wine, get a hold of us at crossroadscoven@gmail.com. That's crossroadscoven@gmail.com.
We're always looking for people who want to talk about whatever, and it doesn't have to be Wiccan. I mean, we've had people talk about a lot of different things, and we're all about just talking about things that are of witchiness, but can also even be outside of that realm.
Expanding our horizons, learning more, providing information that could be useful for others.
Yes. So, thank you, Aria, for being here.
Thank you.
And let's make one more clink and
Cheers.
drink. Clink and drink.
Until next week, guys.
Wait, let's take a sip. Until next week, remember to always be kind to one another, walk with the goddess, and until next time, blessed be.
Blessed be, guys. We'll see you again.
Bye.